Welcome again to Raw Talk with Respect with D Mainstream. I think I probably do good work at nighttime. At least I like when everything's really quiet and you can think and kind of get into your own thoughts with no distraction whatsoever. This past probably couple of weeks, I endeavored on asking a few questions of some people that I think that we think all the time, maybe amongst ourselves, but we don't really share those thoughts and processes. But I think my question came to be that how does that factor in our everyday lives and the decisions that we make in relationships? In a relationship, it's not necessarily you and your boyfriend or girlfriend or whomever it may be. It's simply how you interact with people on any level of a relationship that it may be or you term it to be. There's about 20 questions I think I asked, but I'm going to do 10 tonight. Got a lot to do. But I really want you to take the time to consider these questions, and it's really something that you consider and see if it really applies to you and the things that you do in your everyday life. And if it does apply to you, fantastic. If it doesn't, I think it may. I think it's good insight from experience, the expense of which, and our everyday life, and it's important, I think. So, first question I ask a lot of my people that I interact with, whether it be friends, family, or just random strangers, is what is something you were told that made you feel amazing? Whatever it is in your mind that you're thinking that made you feel amazing, whether it be someone or several people, one time in history, a few times, or the last time, how did it make you feel? When you feel amazing, that means somebody has said something that really resonated with you that maybe you need confirmation on, that you knew or you felt, and then you hear from someone else. And I think that's very important in the psyche of our life, especially when you're inundated with negative everything from TV to friends to family, just telling you all the problems and issues that may be apparent to them. And they tell you because you have insight that is necessary for them because they don't think that way. The last thing that I was told that made me feel amazing was when my kids told me they love me. And I love you back. But when someone really takes the time to tell you, hey, I love you, for whatever reason they're thinking in their mind, it resonates with you and it sticks with you. It goes and it ties to everything that I really say about the other podcasts that I have, whether it be the power of positivity or the epiphany. It's like putting a deposit into that bottle. You put in a deposit into that account, whatever you want to name it, whatnot, and that's what you're going to get out of it. And even if you don't, it doesn't change who you are. But you always want to feel that way, and when you do, you remember that. That sticks out in your mind. The true question is, can you remember the last time you made someone else feel that way? There should be several instances, and if not, something to consider. It's what we always want to feel like. That's what everyone wants to feel like. And when you have the power and the capacity to do such, why not? Just one thing. I even got into the thought process of what is something maybe you've never told your ex? What is something that you learned from your first heartbreak? And the reason I ask those questions is because I think a lot of times we have preconceived notions, things that we've experienced that really factor into how we navigate moving forward. Is it fair to the person? Is it not fair to the next person? Is it necessary for you? Does it impede you from really allowing someone to enter into your life on an even playing ground? I think these are things that we need to consider. I don't think people ask you these questions. Do people have to pay for your past relationships? Think about that. Do people have to pay for your past relationships? And that's good or bad. And if so, are you aware that they do? Because I think that a lot of times we get so caught up in what's going on right now, us, things that are apparent, necessary, prevalent, if you will. And we forget the people that really are crying out and saying some things to us that they really need our attention. But life is so fast and caught up, and do we make time? The people I entertain and talk to and are part of my life, I really think they are conscious of that, and that makes me feel amazing because they're aware and they care and they're thinking about those things regardless of what's around them. The noise. Call it the noise. What's noise around you right now? In your everyday life, from when you go to work and when you come back home, whether it be family, friends, or just situation or circumstances, what's the noise around you that prevents you from really looking within and outside of that to the people that you're around that you impact, that prevents you from doing the things that you know that you would love to feel the same way? Do not live the rest of your life, or most of it, not exploring why that is. Don't wait to a funeral, don't wait to a wedding, don't wait to a baby's born. Incorporate that in your everyday language. To be the best you want to be, it is imperative to you, the people that look up to you or look to you or ask you questions, that you do the same with them, because they're looking to you for direction. And that should be astoundingly amazing to you, to make you feel like someone is looking to you for that information. It's a game changer, even if you don't think of it for yourself. Some other questions I ask is, and I think it's probably one of the most important questions that I thought about, that I think we think about quite often. And we might not tell everybody this answer to this question, but we know the answer to this question. And I think it either impedes or accentuates or at least gives you some kind of value system or barometer of how you can move forward. And that is, what's the most pain you've ever felt that wasn't physical? What's the most pain you've ever felt that wasn't physical? And I've had a lot of answers from a lot of people, ranging from parents that have passed, to past relationships, to not quite knowing where they want to be in life right now, and it's kind of like they're just treading water. The most pain you may feel in your lifetime is something that lets you know that you feel. You're not cold. You're here, which means you are present. You're not shut off. Something you can learn from. We all have that in our life. And it's necessary for us to address that, because if we don't, then it factors into the relationships that we go through. And someone that never had anything to do with that pain will have to deal with that pain. Whether it's conscious or subconscious. If you can go back and look at your younger self and talk to your younger self and ask your younger self, what is something that you wouldn't believe that you at your age right now, if you went and talked to your younger self, wouldn't believe? And like I said, I wasn't going to do a lot of the questions I have tonight, just those few. I'm going to focus on those. And the real, I guess, the impetus of why I want to say that to you is because we go to work every day, we are good to people, or sometimes we're upset, especially when we're driving on the roads and people cut us off and we have our rage moments, or maybe a sibling that gets on your nerves, but you still love them and you still give them insight, whether it be something you don't want to do but you do it because that's who you are. What would your younger self not believe? That you're patient, that you have the capacity to love that you do, that you're forgiving. When you say, I'm not going to deal with that, I'll never deal with that. But you do, because you love people and you care about them and you want them to be a better version of what you think you can be. Can you imagine what that says about you and why you would even think that way? I think that's the most amazing thing about humanity. Even though the opposite of that is horrible and that's all we see on TV. I think these are questions that we need to ask ourselves all the time because they really do factor into how we make decisions moving forward. And not just relationships. It can be relationships on a professional level, personal level, friendship level. Are we really conscious of those things when we move forward? And then if they don't work for any reason, were we paying attention to those things? Or are we blaming others because we never really had that conversation with ourselves? I have some friends that tell me, how do you just talk and have these conversations without anybody giving you input back and forth? Well, some that are similar, whether we give a moniker of ADHD or ADD or whatever it may be. I think my mind moves differently in a way of that I think outside the box probably all the time. And I think of what people don't really talk about and why they don't talk about those things and why it's necessary to do such. We go by life and we just simply say, it doesn't matter, tomorrow's another day, and then those things fester. We've all thought these thoughts. We've all had these questions. It's like another one that's really good, and I wasn't going to say it, but I'll say it now. It's like, go back in time in your mind. Family, friend, whatever it may be. Who would you visit? Who would you visit? Why would you visit them, and what would you say? Or fill in the blank. Most people, family members. Most people, friends and someone close that's not here anymore. The deeper question is, sounds bad to some extent, but it's really not meant that way. The things and people that you want to visit and say to them, the question really is, why didn't you before? Hence, why I'm having the conversation with you now about the things that you think that you may not convey to someone else or even divulge to someone else. Most importantly, I think most people will never ask you. So unless you just are willing to give that information and confide or talk to someone that is in that relationship stance with you, you'll go your lifetime and you'll never have that conversation. Do you think that's important to do so? And if you did, How much do you think your life would be expanded? Not changed per se, but expanded. How much more would you think outside the box as opposed to your mind and what resonates with you and what you were taught? Are you willing to hear that? Are you willing to even entertain that it may be different from what you've always been taught and thought? Those that know me know that I think very differently, and the people that are around me think very similar. Some think very dissimilar, and that is necessary for obvious reasons. I just wanted to take the time because I think people matter. I think how they feel matters. And I think you play, I play, we all play a very important factor. And there's a lot of times we don't want to say things to people or ask them for fear of the response or how they may take it. If you're genuine and people see that you are, I think they won't have a problem with really divulging how they feel. I think they always think that there's an angle in why are you asking, especially if it's people meeting that don't know each other, or even the ones that do know each other. They're just, why are they asking that question? As opposed to maybe they see something that I don't see myself. And so on the flip side of that, the people that are receiving that information or questions, maybe it's simply just that. And if someone pays attention to you enough to ask those questions or say things to you, maybe sometimes it's okay just to hear that question and respond, as opposed to, why are they asking it? It must be for a wrong reason or something that they're after or something that they're trying to get at. And that's a fair question. But if you live your life like that, will you really have any true answers or insight as to who you are? Or will you always be guarded and nobody will ever know the true you? I think it's really important for people to know the true you, because I think everyone's amazing in some kind of way. I think they have something to give. I know they have some insight. They have some experience. Some don't know how to convey. Some are not able to communicate. Some don't do it really in a way where it's received and it's accepted. We all need work, right? It's important. Whether we talk about blue, red, black, white, he, she, them, it doesn't matter. We all have our belief systems. We all have the things that shape us. The questions that I'm asking tonight are, do any of these things shape you? And if they do, are they valid? Not just to you, because you're not living here by yourself. Do they make sense? Whether it be religion that you believe in, whether it be your experiences that you believe in, whether it be your parents that you believe in, whether it be your friends, wherever you're at in life, I think it's very important, especially if you went through life and things have not been difficult or you've not experienced some things. And I don't mean to demean or downgrade your experiences to anybody else. Can you find someone else that's worse off than you right now? Really? In your mind, think right now. There is someone, or maybe there is not, but is there someone that would love to be in the position that you're in right now? Life is good for you. You're able to look at this, view this, have a phone, computer to be able to do so. I think we're desensitized to know that everyone doesn't have that capability. Everyone doesn't have a friend like you. Everyone doesn't have a partner like you. Everyone doesn't have someone that loves you like you and tells them that they love them like you. Do you accept the same thing that you give to other people? That they love you like you love them and accept it as such? You think it as being normal. It should be accepted. So, do you understand why some may not think that's real and accept that? I would just encourage everyone to really have the conversation with yourself. And I'm going to do the last 10. I can say probably Sunday, but I don't know. But the meat of the matter is try to have the conversations with yourself that are uncomfortable. The questions that you don't really want to ask yourself, but you do sometimes, and you kind of skate through it, and you don't want anybody else involved. And what's the answer to that? And you be the person that judges that without anybody outside of that making you feel any sort of way. But the beauty of that is this. The beauty is this. It makes you so well-rounded to be able to understand how someone else is coming to you as opposed to what you've been inundated with all your life. You see it from a different standpoint. I have a friend. They work at a school. And that school is probably the roughest of the rough people, that where they go when they don't do what they're supposed to. And this is probably one of the most squeaky clean glass house type of people that you would imagine in a lot of ways. Great people. It's like, if you will, putting someone in the projects, if you know what projects are, that doesn't look like them, doesn't talk like them, and saying, here, you go and you take care of that, you teach them, and you make sure they hear what you have to say. The word for that is life-changing, outstanding, something that even most people don't think that they are even capable of. So if you're capable of doing stuff like that, can you imagine overcoming your fears? And then the gumption or wherewithal to be able to teach someone something that they never thought was real, and especially coming from a source that they despise. Because you really don't know how people look at you until you have that conversation with them. You can guess self-talk, which is the worst of all in most cases. Unless you're confident or you know that you're loved and cared about, and regardless of what people tell you, which is the worst, you believe the opposite, I encourage you to do so. But can you imagine? We get up in the morning. Most have jobs and go to. Most get a paycheck and get it. Most live in a home or somewhere, have children, whatever it may be. Do we take that for granted? Do we take that we can go downstairs and get a glass of water, glass of milk, tell our kids how we love them? If we do. If we don't, we should. Tell our friends we love them. If we don't, we should. Are we wasting time? Or are you utilizing every single moment that you can from your expense of your experiences, from the things that you've been through before, making sure no one felt other than the positive part of how you feel right now? And you have not only the opportunity, you have the knowledge, the wherewithal. Then it becomes just choice. And this goes for family too. Think about the last person you told them that you loved them. And I'm not talking about your significant other, but the people in your life, friends, family, associates. Can you imagine what that means to them when you say that to them? How their day is transformed. How is yours transformed when someone says it to you? We have that power. The things that shape us, we really need to pay attention to. When that Dateline ID comes on, we're paying attention to it and we know all the factors and what's going on and why it's so crazy. Why don't we know that about the people that we interact with on an everyday basis and making sure that they feel a certain way and know that they're okay? And if we are doing that, if you are doing that, you're a beast. I have people like that in my life and I adore them and I tell them that. I can only encourage you to do the same. And in the next 10 questions that I will go over with you in my next podcast, they're thoughtful ones as well. And I'm going to go and give you another one while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to give you this one while I'm thinking about that. I thought about this one at the very end, and I'm going to close by saying this. Think about this question, and I think it's really important. And it's not just because podcasts or whatnot, but just really think about this. While I'm seem like I'm fuzzy. Okay. Do women, if you're a man, do men, if you're a woman, do they have to pay? Do they pay? Do they pay? Pay meaning deal with, overcome, assuage, mediate your past relationships. Do they have to deal with your past relationships? Whoever you are. Please consider that. I think that is a profound reason why a lot of relationships, not only do they fail, but have problems. Things we do not let go of. We say we learn from, but we still hold on to, and then the next person has to deal with that. And the people that really have some very successful relationships that I'm aware of, they have it too, but they learn how to process that and not hold on to that and utilize that as a weapon. They don't weaponize it. Every one of you that's listening to this or listens to this in the future is an amazing human being. And I really mean that. You have the capabilities of doing anything you want to do. And making anyone you wanted to, you can make them feel like they're on top of the world. Any person that you truly wanted to, if someone said, I'll give you $1 million to make them feel like they're on top of the world. That's a no-brainer. So, the question becomes, what's your incentive? Or, to some, do you even need one? Do you need an incentive to make someone feel like they're the best thing in the world? Do you have or need a motive to make them feel like they're the best thing in the world? And the reason I was asking these questions to some of them is because some I heard, some I thought of my own, but I thought in my mind, why don't we? We have these questions. We've all thought these questions. We just never shared them. And when we don't share them, like asking and talking to you like I am right now, doesn't mean we don't share them in our relationships in a negative way or in a filtered way. And you know what I mean. We are all in some way good, and we are all in some way fault. And I don't want to say bad because we're not, just we have faults. But I think a very good medium is to make someone feel how you want to feel on your best day. And when you have the capacity to be able to do that, knowledge, communicative skills to do so, think to yourself, why don't you? Which is the reason for these questions. I think they play a factor in the why we don't do those things sometimes. Ornery, mad, upset, but the end result doesn't benefit us. So I'll end it with this. 30 minutes, usually it's an hour and a half. We're good. I'm going to make an effort to be consistent at least 2 to 3 times a month to give you some good stuff, because I think it's just me. I'll give you some stuff that you can chew on and utilize and impart to other people that can help them that might not be on the level. And I don't mean in any bad way, but just some things that they might not have thought about before. But they look to you because they view you in that capacity or that aura. You know what I'm talking about. Don't feel like life is overwhelming all the time. It is overwhelming sometimes. And when you have all the things in the baggage that we have from life, from childhood to now to every day, it does seem overwhelming sometimes. You need people that are not always going to tell you something amazing, positive, and you're this, you're that. But some people that are going to tell you, no, that's not okay. No, I don't agree with that. I would consider this. Maybe take a look at this side of the story. I think those people are going to last a lot longer. It's easy to hear what we want to hear. But when people challenge you, I ask you another thing real quick. When people challenge you on things, whether it be your religion, whether it be your politics, whether it be your choice of people that you hang around with, that you're with, when they challenge you, what is your reaction? I think I'm going to put that as far as another question. When they challenge you, if they disagree, what's your response? Do you even consider what they're saying to you? Or they're just, well, they don't know because they don't have this. Well, they don't know because they don't have that. You know, the people that talk about boxing, basketball, baseball, and whatnot, those commentators, most of them have never played a day in their life. The gist, you don't have to be able to know what you're talking about if you take the time to study and experience that. I don't have to be on the court to know how the ball goes through the hole. It helps, but at least I can see it from a perspective that you can't. Just like you can see it from a perspective that I never can as well. So the same way I have to hear you, I can only hope that you hear it from mine as well. Thank you for taking the time to hear me. Thank you for taking the time to really understand or even entertain what I'm saying to you. You matter. I don't just get on here just to talk and hear myself talk. As much as it may seem like I do, I think I have something to say. From the people that are the most amazing to the people that not the best relationships, I can only hope that I can learn from every single aspect of every person that they did for me, good and bad, and then hopefully turn that bad into something that I can make good. You know, when you go to those shops that have, what do they call them? Not artifacts. You know what I'm talking about. Those shops that you go to, that the stuff that's old. I can't think of it right offhand. And people are like, I don't know what that is. That's nothing. And then someone sees it like, oh my gosh, I know I can do something with this. You are that. You can be shaped. And because you're 30, 20, 40, 50, doesn't mean you're not palatable. You are. You can be shaped. You definitely can be shaped if you're willing to do so. I love all my friends, my family, people that listen to me, people that are new. I wish you nothing but the best. We don't have a long time here. So what are we going to do with that time? Hold grudges? Or love, care, and interact with those that facilitate that? No one's perfect. Not one. Thank you for taking the time. When you take a look at this, please like, please subscribe, and know my utmost intent is to give you anything, whether it be 30 seconds or 20 minutes, of something that can improve, enhance, make you consider something that you might not do every day. I am in no way faultless. I'm just speaking from experience. And it's like I tell my children, if what I say to you doesn't resonate or make any sense, throw it in the trash. But what does, consider. Until the next time, to my friends, to my associates, my family, and the things and people that incorporate me in their life, I appreciate you. I love you. You matter. And I will always tell you, you matter. For one simple reason. Because you do. I'm not going to wait till it's a funeral or a wedding or a baby shower. I'm telling you now, you matter. So everyone, you have a good night. I think the next one, I didn't get a lot of time to really review everything, but I think these questions were so important to me that they really made me think a lot of ways, and the input that I got from a lot of people in the next 10 are going to be crazy, but they just made me think outside the box that I thought I normally thought. But I know I do think these things, but I normally don't have someone that I can have that conversation with in depth. It sounds bad to say the word without baggage. Doesn't mean like with baggage though. Can you go and talk to your significant other and ask them those questions and they'll be honest with you? Like, who is was your first love? Who is someone that you feel got away? Things what we think in our minds, real or not. On to the next one. You guys be good. Have an amazing night. And just know, to me, just to me, can't speak for anybody else. Everyone that knows me, and I know you, and I tell you this, and I know I do, but I'm telling you this now. I love you. You matter to me, and you will always matter to me. And even if things were just not the way they should be, you still matter. You still matter. Don't ever let anyone tell you different. And if you feel that way because of someone that made you feel that way, just try to entertain moving past that in the capacity to love, because you're cheating yourself and especially someone else that can receive what you have to give. Till the next time.